o'clock.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Do we start with the prayers, or we have?
Yeah. Auspiciousness, to invoke auspiciousness, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
You're muted, Jagannath, Priya.
So
Okay, good.
we are reading from the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 43, text 9 to 11. Chapter entitled Krishna kills the elephant Kuvalyapida. The verse is as follows. I'll be reading text 9 and then verses through 9 to 11. सपर्यावर्तमानेन सव्यदक्षिणतोच्युतः बभ्राम भ्रम्यमानेन गोवत्सनेव बालकः. Translation: As Lord Achyuta held onto the elephant's tail, the animal tried to twist away to the left and to the right, making the Lord swerve in the opposite direction, as a young boy would swerve when pulling a calf by the tail. Translations to text number 1011. Krishna then came to face with the elephant and slapped him and ran away. Kuvalyapida pursued the Lord, managing to touch him again and again with each step, but Krishna outmaneuvered the elephant and made him trip and fall. As Krishna dodged about, he playfully fell on the ground and quickly got up again. The raging elephant, thinking Krishna was down, tried to gore him with his tusks, but struck the earth instead. Text 12. His prowess foiled, the lordly elephant Kuvalyapida went into the frenzied rage out of frustration, but the elephant keepers goaded him on, and he furiously charged Krishna once again. Text number 13. The Supreme Lord, killer of the demon Madhu, confronted the elephant as he attacked. Seizing his trunk with one hand, Krishna threw him to the ground. So there are no purports to these verses which I was told to speak on. Before we begin the discussion, let us offer our prayers to all our acharyas. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So I'm grateful to Anand Bihari Prabhu to engage me this morning. And it was a short notice, so please forgive my shortcomings. Also, my obeisances to all the senior devotees who are assembled in this morning discussion. So the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam happens to be the largest part of Bhagavatam discussion. All other cantos are spoken just to come to the true appreciation of the 10th canto. In the first canto itself, Shukdev Goswami explains, Sutta Goswami explains that who is this personality of Krishna. Kritavana kila karmani saha ramena keshava ati martyani bhagwan gudha kapata manusha. That when Lord Krishna and Balram they appeared as ordinary human beings. And this is essential for us to love God. It is impossible to love God only in the sense of understanding God as omniscient, omnipresent, and all-powerful. That develops a lot of awe and reverence for sure, but it does not generate love automatically. And for love to exist, the Lord must appear in the form which is relatable to the human beings. And that is why the Bhagavatam in the beginning itself explains that this Ram or Balram and this Krishna who appear to be ordinary, they are actually God who has deceitfully appeared as human beings. So that is what is called kapata. The meaning of kapata is deceit, or trying to camouflage your personality in some way. So what is this? This is a transcendental deceit which Krishna and Balram are doing, that they will behave like ordinary people. They'll get hungry just like you. They'll need food, water, shelter. They'll throw tantrums when they are young. They'll need planning and discussion. They may involve many people to figure out things. It will appear that they need, but actually they don't need because they are God themselves. So this is the most beautiful part of Srimad Bhagavatam, that God is being presented in a form where you can participate with him, you can love him, and so on. The pastimes of Krishna are very nourishing because of this very reason, because we can relate to them. If you had God who was just a superhero jumping from one building to the other, one mountain to the other, you would not relate to those things. You would have a sense of appreciation, but it does not touch your heart deeply. Just like superheroes have fans, but they don't have lovers. For lovers to exist, you need some kind of behavior that the beloved also can appreciate that way, or he can relate, he or she. So the pastimes of Krishna are beautiful because they can be relished and experienced by ourselves. In fact, Prabhupada would give a great emphasis on the Shabda Praman, speaking the word of that, saying the Shastra is the word of authority. At the same time, he would greatly emphasize that this word of authority, or what is known as Shabda Praman, one of the evidences of the truth, is relishable only when it becomes pratyaksha, or that which when it becomes your direct experience. So in the Bhagavad Gita, there's a beautiful verse which comes, what is dharma per se? Pratyaksha avagamam dharmyam susukham kartum avyayam. I think the first verse, Rajavidya Rajguhyam Pavitram Idam Uttamam Pratyaksha Avagamam Dharmyam Susukham Avyayam. The king of all knowledge, it is beautiful because it is Pratyaksha. Pratyaksha means that which is directly perceivable, which can directly be experienced. So let's say that I am speaking of a truth which cannot be experienced by any one of you, it's just experienced by me. Then there is no value to the truth. So if I have experienced a truth and I share that truth with you, that truth is your Shabda Praman, but for me it is Pratyaksha because I have experienced it. So now it is your responsibility. It is my responsibility when I hear the Shabda of Acharyas to convert that Shabda into Pratyaksha through the form of sadhana, services, and the process and so on. Only when the truth gets converted to Pratyaksha or a direct experience, the truth becomes sweet, nourishing, and that which you can take shelter of. So that is the whole beauty of how these pastimes of Krishna are related in the Srimad Bhagavatam, that one can participate, one can start relishing. So in this specific chapter, the killing of Kuvalya Pida, therefore you can see also these verses, how they are being described, that Krishna held the elephant by the tail, and then he was trying to swing it, and because the elephant was moving, Krishna was also moving, just like a boy would catch a calf. So it's very descriptive in the manner in which this thing is happened. Also, it could have been just said that there was a very powerful elephant, but then Krishna was God and he just struck him with one blow, and the elephant was dead. That does not happen. When you read the pastimes, there are a lot of descriptions which are happening, and not just in the Srimad Bhagavatam. As you move ahead, when you try to get more details of the pastimes which are mentioned in other Puranas like Harivansha Puran, Garga Samhita, Narad Puran, Vishnu Puran, then we have Shiva Puran. All these Puranas give the same pastimes with even more details at times. Because Srimad Bhagavatam does not describe who is Kuvalya Pida, that elephant as such. Who exactly is Kamsa is not described in detail. So when you read all these Puranas along with the Bhagavatam, then you get the whole sense of what's happening. So this killing of Kuvalya Pida is not an ordinary event. And Kuvalya Pida was not just one ordinary elephant. He used to be an elephant in the kingdom of Jarasandha. Jarasandha was the most powerful king at that point of time. And he was so powerful that everyone wanted to have an alliance with him. He had the largest alliance. It is explained that Jarasandha had a very powerful army, and he had the best of the horses, best of the elephants, best of the warriors in his kingdom, just like any powerful king would want, the best of the collectibles. Kuvalyapid was one of them. And in many of his excursions to conquer other kingdoms, Jarasandha would go with his favorite elephant, Kuvalyapid, who was trained to be short-tempered, and he was fed the best of the food. Very powerful elephant. So it is explained that this elephant one time let loose, and he entered the kingdom of Kamsa. That time Kamsa was not so powerful, but Kamsa was individually powerful. He was not recognized as a brand Kamsa, as a king. But he was individually very powerful. Just like Krishna was killing demons, but he was not a brand Krishna till the Bhagavad Gita or the battle of Kurukshetra took place. Till that time, many people would think of him as just an ordinary person, who is killing Putana. Only the villagers were convinced that he's killing demons. None in the cities were convinced that he's actually God. That doubt even Kamsa was having. That's why he called him, right? So when Krishna went, when Kamsa was growing up to become a king, he was a very powerful person. So he used to, right from childhood, he would wrestle with people. And he would defeat many of the wrestlers, even when he was a child. So in one such occasion, he was fighting some wrestlers, and at that time, Jarasandha was preparing to attack. And his elephant Kuvalyapid let loose, and he came to Kamsa's arena. And at that time, Kamsa got hold of this Kuvalyapid elephant by its trunk and threw him away, swung and threw him away 80 miles. And that's how Jarasandha felt that, oh, this man is so powerful. So Jarasandha married two of his daughters, Asti and Prapti, to Kamsa. because marrying the daughters in the opponent's kingdom was considered a form of creating alliance. So they would not attack you. So after the alliance with Jarasandha, Kamsa became very, very powerful. And this is how during the marriage, Jarasandha offered these three things. One is the elephant, the two daughters, and along with that, he gave him 100,000 elephants, 300,000 horses, and so on as gifts in marriage. So this is how Kamsa became very powerful. And this Kuvalyapida elephant was therefore charged to take the responsibility to kill Krishna through his through the Mahat of Kuvalyapida. Krishna was not disturbed. In fact, the beauty of Krishna's pastime is, although he's doing one act, there are multiple things which are happening at the same time. It was in this particular arena which Kamsa had arranged, where he had also invited Bhishmaka, who was the father of Rukmini, and Rukmini was also invited in this particular arena. So this was one of the first occasions where Rukmini saw Krishna defeating Kuvalyapida, and her love for Krishna even increased further. So this explains later when you hear about Krishna kidnapping Rukmini. So the seeds were also sown here. Rukmini had always heard about Krishna doing so many feats, but when she was invited here, she saw it personally. So we see sometimes that even during chaos, there are many beautiful things happen. As devotees, and as devotees of Krishna especially, it's our individual, it should be our individual meditation and this understanding that in the chaos of our lives, there will be something beautiful coming up, if probably we are taking shelter of Krishna. A devotee should not be perturbed by the chaos around him. In fact, every single avatar has appeared only in chaos. Krishna appeared amidst chaos. The forming of marriage took place in the chaos with Krishna and Rukmini. Bhagavad Gita took place in chaos. So chaos is part of just life. One should not take it too seriously, as long as you can extract meaning out of it. Also, some other aspects I would like to speak about who Kamsa was. Now, these I haven't too deeply prepared for the class. I'm just giving a background of these personalities. Kamsa in his previous birth was Kalanemi, a demon, who was born again to Ugrasena as Kamsa and to assist in the pastimes of the Lord. Lord used his inimical and demoniac skills to enhance his activities further. This Kalanemi, who was a demon earlier, Kamsa's earlier birth, that also had some contribution to the formation of the Bhakti philosophy. Kalanemi had 6 sons who had understood that by praying unto Brahma, you can become very powerful. So Kalanemi's 6 sons had prayed to Brahma to become powerful. And that was not very much appreciated. So they got cursed that they will die in their next life by Kalanemi himself. So Kalanemi appeared as Kamsa, and those 6 sons of Kalanemi appeared as the first 6 sons who were born out of Devaki. And the father of the previous birth itself killed his own children in the next birth. That's how Krishna arranged those pastimes. And even more beautifully, Kalanemi had one daughter who was Vrinda, who was married to Jalandhar, and those of you, all of you who know the pastimes of Vrinda Devi, Tulsi Maharani, and the formation of Shaligram Shila, and all of that. So we also see in the pastimes of Krishna that sometimes demons are the reason for the beautiful things to come up. Like you see, Hiranyakashipu was the father of Prahlad. That way, Kalanemi was the father of Vrinda, who later appeared due to a curse on the earthly planets as Tulasi Devi. And because of her, Vishnu appeared as Shaligrama Shila. So we also see this feature in almost every single pastime. There is no demon who is just purely a demon who has no role whatsoever in the formation of the growth of consciousness or philosophy. And there is no devotee who is absolutely spotless. Through the lens of dharma, if you even put Yudhishthir, who is known as Dharmaraj, you will be able to see some flaws in him. Bhishma, who is known as Mahajan, you may be able to extract some flaws in him, according to how Vyasadeva explains. So this also helps us understand that while we are trying to practice spirituality, our approach should be realistic. There is no idealism in any format. There is no one person who is 100% spotless. As long as we don't reach our ultimate destination and ultimate situation of purity of the soul as a pure devotee, there will always be some flaws in the best of the people, and there will always be some good in the worst of the people. So there is a lot of hope for those who are having a lot of flaws, because if they focus on their good and develop it in the spirit of service, they can progress. And those who are good, they should also understand that there are some flaws in all of us, all of them who are good. And if they don't remain humble, those flaws can then turn to create great demons out of us. So in any case, there is a lot of opportunity for conditioned souls to progress in the path of spiritual life, and especially in the path of bhakti. So as you read further, you will see how Krishna kills Kuvalyapida. But these were just some thoughts which were there in my mind, so I should just share them. So I'd like to stop here. If there are any questions or comments, we can take. We have 20 minutes. I was told we should stop 15 minutes earlier, so I stopped. Yes, Prabhu.
There's a play that the devotees performed on the 500th anniversary of Lord Chaitanya's appearance in Mayapur, called the Jagannath Priya Natyakam. You've heard of that?
Yes, yes.
About the appearance of Lord Jagannath. And the the play was composed about the real story, but in the light of making that presentation, there's mention of just like this Ayurveda is about healing and medicine and diet, and the Shilpa Shastra is about the Veda, about architecture, how you build a temple and how this indicates this. And there's a Veda about the composition of a dramatic story. And one of the components is there must be a good villain. We were talking before about the Little Krishna videos and what great villains. Have you seen those animations? The villains are fantastic, and so there has to be a formidable opponent for the hero. If you read a novel or look at a film of some sort, there's always a good guy, and you see the goodness of him, and there's a combat. There's some contentiousness between the very powerful evil villain and the hero, bringing about a twist and bringing things back into a good arrangement for all the people. So here in this, we hear about this powerful elephant, and like you said, Rukmini was attracted by seeing Krishna. One of Krishna's opulence is his strength and his power, and we want to align ourselves with a person who has those qualities. So Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Vasudeva Sabhamiti. So when we understand how wonderful is Krishna, then let me serve Krishna. I want to be with that person, right? So it's this interesting example of a powerful, evil opponent, and how Krishna practically effortlessly, playfully, completely controls and conquers that evil person. And then where the conclusion is, let us serve Krishna. How wonderful is Krishna, right? Anyway, just to
These demons were undefeatable.
people.
The demons that are undefeatable, so it invokes Krishna to come incarnate and protect his devotees.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Yamuna Jaya has her hand up.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much for class. It was just beautiful. I just wanted to reflect and appreciate how you spoke about Shrubda Brahma, actually then bringing us to Prayaksha Brahma. We always say, don't believe your senses, don't believe your senses, don't believe your senses, Shabda Brahma. But that was such a beautiful walk towards when we soak ourselves in the kata, then it becomes our experience. Then we can believe our experience because our experience is based on Shastra, is based on truth. And so I never made that connection before. So thank you for putting that so beautifully, and so encouraging us to remember to keep hearing from the proper sources. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Jagannath, Priya Prabhu, wonderful class. Thank you. You mentioned earlier how Krishna is so relatable. And I was thinking, yeah, Krishna is relatable. He has friends. He's going through some challenges, and he's just playfully dealing with everything and achieving multiple purposes. And Krishna is aware, I guess, that this is a play. But for us down here, it's all real, and the time is running out. There seems to be an injustice there, that we have to die. Time is running out. We have, our challenges are real, and we're hearing about Krishna, who is playfully killing elephants, throwing demons around, playfully. And sometimes we tend to get envious of Krishna. How come he's playing around and I'm down here dealing with very real challenges? How do we deal with that type of mentality? I guess that's the reason we're all here. I guess at least I'm here because of that.
I recollect in the 11th canto, there is a discussion between Krishna and Uddhav, where Krishna explains. Oh, sorry, it's not in the 11th canto. It is, I think, Narad Muni with Prachetas. They explain that the living entity, just like in the night time, when we dream, we concoct something which is not real. So in the night time, we are busy dreaming, and in the daytime, we are busy daydreaming. So that's the purport what it explains. So in both cases, we concoct a reality which truly doesn't exist for a very long time in that sense. So although our problems are real in some sense, we should at least have this understanding that they are not too real, not to make it too real than they are. Otherwise, they take over and that becomes our only reality. As if we are able to somehow see that we are just in a transition phase, it doesn't really matter. None of whatever is happening in our life is going to matter even to us. Let's say 20 years ago, those things which were a very big problem to me, when we were young as brahmacharis, just joined the temple, like I had many issues with how the temple was running in a certain place. And I was like, Prabhupada's mission is going to get compromised and this and that. Now, when I look back, I feel that it was so silly. So even those things which were real are not real for us. Even while we are in this body, imagine when you're out of this body, you are as a spirit soul. Things are going to change so much. So first of all, except for emergency and bare minimum survival things, take everything with a pinch of salt and try to navigate those things that way. Accept situations of life as they come. And I feel that as long as you are able to extract some meaning and able to connect with Krishna or his presence through situations in life, then every situation is a blessing. So learning to take shelter of Krishna in good times is okay, but we have to also learn to take shelter in adversity. Otherwise, if I think that if in adversity I am failing to take shelter and see his hand, that means I have not been able to see in his hand even in good times. It was just a concoction of the mind. So trying to reason out, that's how we navigate. And it's not necessary that we have to be in an ecstatic state of feeling through the discharge and going through ups and downs. Dealing with the situations with good consciousness and a good spirit in itself is connecting with God. So it's not that we need to feel the ecstasy of how we feel during Thursday night Kirtan or some festivals all the time. It's not necessary. So I hope this.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah. It made me think, if you see God playing around, then you can get envious. Yes, that's a choice. But you can also become part of the game. You can become part of it by connecting with Krishna, like you said, Jagannath, Priya, Prabhu. So wonderfully. Thank you.
And actually,
Jeffrey, yeah.
Even from the point of view of God, it's not like he's just playing around. Like, imagine from the consciousness of what God is, for him to come amongst people who have no understanding of God, it's a kind of a torture. Just like all of us devotees, sometimes we feel tortured to just be part of the other people around, and we love to come to temple. So from Krishna's perspective, we ourselves are contributing to a sense of torture that way. So it is just to encourage us that the acharyas say that he's playing around. But from the point of view of God or from the point of view of Krishna, it's not just fun. It's much more than that. It's a sense of compassion also. He wants to connect. He wants to experience love from all of us to get our attention. So there are many aspects.
Thank you, Jagannath Priya. So wonderfully said. Krishna Lila is so much more than just fun. Thank you. Jeffrey Eckler, Prabhu.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you for this class. I was reflecting on what you said about, even if we are very good, but we have some weaknesses and we don't pay attention to those weaknesses, then they could be our unfolding. And in light of Kuvalyapita and him being this powerful elephant, and he's seeking Krishna in this situation to the point of frustration and frenzy. And so we are seeking Krishna in a different mood, right? How do we make sure that our mood doesn't turn to frustration and frenzy?
So this is why I said that, see, many times the Bhagavatam also, the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, Rupa Goswami and others, they do explain that in the process of bhakti, there is no difference between the process and the end goal as such. Because once we reach to that stage also, we are doing more or less the same things. So in that spirit, even through the struggles of our life, we have to see the struggles themselves as an act of service than thinking that I will cross the struggles and then I'm going to reach somewhere and then the ecstasies are going to only come at that point. We have to start valuing every aspect, every stage of our struggle, a journey of our life. Then there wouldn't be any frustration. frustration comes when we see the means and the end result as different. Especially in the path of Bhakti Yoga, the means and end are more or less the same. As long as we are able to take shelter of Krishna, even in the struggle, it's okay. This has also been my own personal meditation. When I got tired of reaching some end result which never came, then I started appreciating everything which is happening at every stage. So I'm also learning that. But that's when it struck me, yeah, this is what the whole process is like. Kunti Maharani's prayer, Kunti prays when she finally gets rid of her troubles, and then when Krishna is there. And then she prays, oh, and then when she knows that now Krishna is going to go, she says, no, it's okay. Give me the struggle back. So that simply means that as long as we are able to see the hand of God or feel the presence of Krishna, it's all okay then. So,
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. I don't know if you can hear me. Vaisheshek Prabhu, he says this all the time. If we don't hear sufficiently from scripture, we begin to imagine injustices. Like Prabhu was saying, we concoct problems when there are no problems. It seems like a problem, but it's actually a learning experience that Krishna is very kindly giving us. And the questions, everybody's question is about fear. Fear, things are out of control. There's big conspiracies, powerful people, wealthy people with armies and political influence, and they're manipulating, they're abusing everyone, but it's not. These little puny little demons are nothing compared to Krishna. So when we hear how wonderful Krishna is, how powerful Krishna is, how perfect, how loving, how concerned, how he's there for us, there's no more fear. A little child who's there with his father understands my father is here. And if anybody tries to, do some harm to me, my father will protect me. So the Bhagavad Gita explains there's potential for imaginary fearful situations, but there's a peace formula. Remember, Krishna is in control. Remember, Krishna is your friend. And remember, we are supposed to please Krishna. If we forget any one of those, Bhaktiram, Yogitapas, Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, that if he's in control, but he's not our friend, what's the use? If he's our friend, right? But he's not in control, he can't help us, right? But if he's a friend and he's in control, well, that's pretty good. But then the last one, which I always fall into, is that I'm supposed to please him. That the way he decides to do it is good, and I'm supposed to serve him, not he's supposed to do it my way. So those three things are there, and if we forget any one of those, we'll be fearful. So we hear scripture says, if you don't hear enough from scripture, you begin to imagine injustices. And then we're unhappy and fearful and apprehension. Anyway, Lord Prabhupada is giving us this knowledge. When there's light, you can't trip over the furniture in the dark room, So the information, this is what in the Chinese culture, there's one character that says the way things seem to be, and there's another character, the way things actually are. So Krishna is so kind, he's here for us. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Venisha, followed by Bhima Prabhu, followed by his horse. Venisha, where are you? Did you?
Sorry, I muted. Sorry. I said, Hare Krishna, good morning. Could you restate the formula that Jamuna Jaya reflected about we first have to follow in faith and until we get direct experience, but then we get direct experience through the Shastra? Is that right? It is simply stated, or could you restate that?
So Prabhupada, the Nyaya Sutras speak about three evidences of how you can understand the truth. So one is pratyaksha, the other one is anuman, and third is shabda. Pratyaksha is direct experience. Anuman is through interpretations or inferences, and shabda is the word of authority. The definition of shabda is aptopadeshaha shabdaha, means the word coming from a reliable source. That is also considered as praman, as a validation of the truth. So the living entity by himself cannot understand the truth completely. So he needs a prompt. So the prompt for the truth is created through Shabda Praman. Someone who has seen the truth or experience, they first create the prompt through information or through knowledge that this is how it is, this is how things work. But now that prompt is not sufficient for us to generate an experience, and therefore we have to deliberate on that prompt. We have to deliberate on the teachings of the acharyas, put it in practice, and make a sincere endeavor to realize those truths. And that is what, and that endeavor then makes us experience the truths. That becomes our pratyaksha, or our direct experience. When it becomes our direct experience, we then, just like in Amazon, someone buys the product and then he reviews it. So that review is, for us, it's a Shabda Praman. And based on the review, I buy the product and I add one more validity to that. Oh, yes, this is true. And then now there are 5,000 reviews for that product. So those 5,000 reviews are 5,000 Shabda Praman, based on which I buy the product, I experience it, and then it becomes my pratyaksha. Then I share that same experience with someone else. That experience becomes Shabda for someone else. So it's a cycle as such. There is no one better than the other, and so on.
That's beautiful. And where is that from? Can you say one more time where that construct is found? You said at the very beginning, I think.
Yeah, in the Gautam Nyaya Sutras, Prabhupada uses this construct. All our acharyas use this construct of pramana, the concept of pramana. It comes in the Gautam Nyaya Sutras.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Bhima Prabhu with his horses. It's so nice to see a stable.
Haribol Prabhu.
Krishna.
Thank you very much. I've missed due to animal horse emergencies. I missed the first part of the class, so I will definitely go back and listen to it again on YouTube. But I was taken by your and I just wanted to say, because it popped into my head, how blessed people like myself are, who are rather simple. And the Beatles have a song, I get by with a little help from my friends. And I feel so blessed to know that I have the devotee association. And this association is sort of like a friendship, once, twice removed. And to be able to listen to people, devotees like yourself, explain truths that have washed through you personally, rather than, obviously, giving us the pastimes of Krishna, and Krishna teaching us, not only having fun, but also teaching us a lesson through his compassion of how we get back home and how we purify ourselves of these demons, these elephants in the room that other people may be aware of, but we might not be aware of. So Krishna breaks off the tusks of them before he enters, the heart of your arena. Anyways, that's the way I take it. But just to listen to you talk about how important it is, and if you could elaborate just a little bit on it, of letting go, and not the process becoming the means and the end, not the means to the end. We tend to think that we are aspiring to attain Krishna consciousness, or to attain Krishna, or to attain purity, but that the process itself, if we simply let go of this fruit of even the fruition of liberation, that if we let go and simply take every moment as sort of Krishna's Leela within our life, that every moment becomes that test, every moment becomes that adventure, And but I do have a question, Prabhu, because these are troubling times for those who are paying attention. And that is, though we may imagine injustices if we do not read scripture, I believe that quote was sort of like ourselves. We imagine injustices to ourselves. So I'm not talking about that, but how are we supposed to feel about the blatant? Let's just get down to the point. Let's just take the concept of a genocide. How do we, and it's happening in the here and the now, right now. How do we feel about that? I remember some devotee saying in a rather callous way, "Oh, well, children dying, they probably in their last life killed a cow." So because I was saying, look at the thousands of children that are just being slaughtered in this in the here and the now, and I'm very upset about it. And oh, don't worry about that. They probably had it coming to them. You know what I mean? So I view this as an injustice. I view this as something that we perhaps could do something about, whether it be spreading the holy name or becoming aware of these things that we can do here and now, rather than worrying about our own purity or whether our T-lock is straight, but actually sort of bringing our presence, to bear in, becoming aware and possibly speaking up and speaking out in, our way. So could you elaborate on that, Prabhu? Thank you.
Okay. So, yeah, we have about 30-40 seconds. See, the concept of karma has to be applied internally, not externally. That's the first thing which everyone must understand. So when things are going wrong in my life, I use the concept of karma to reconcile and adjust my journey as I navigate. But when someone is going through some wrong situations, it's not our duty to superimpose the aspect of karma. As a human being, we are supposed to use the aspect of compassion. So let Krishna's plan take place in whichever way, but we are not Krishna, so we don't play the game of God. Like Krishna said, ultimately, I know who is going to win and who is going to die in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. You, based on your intelligence as a Kshatriya, you do your job. So someone is a soldier, he does the job. Someone is supporting that army. Someone is a family man. You do your own jobs based on your dharma. Don't worry about the grand picture. But then how are we driven? We are driven by two levels of consciousness. First is my duty, and then second is understanding that the grander play of God is based on karmic cycles. So it's not that the theory of karma becomes a shield for me to excuse myself. Anyways, that so-and-so person deserves to suffer and he must have killed a cow. That's ridiculous, and so on. So just in short, this is what it is. They are going to blow the conch shell, so I have to stop, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu.
You can contact me on my phone. Anand Bihari has my number, so we can discuss more on that.
Wonderful class. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Come out of the dark, please. Be seen by Krishna. All your horse problems will be taken care of in due course of time. Horse emergency won't matter 20 years from now. Please come take darshan. Imagine a fight between Gajendra and Kovalayapita. It's a concoction. I'm concocted. Jai, Shishirada Murlidhar, Shigo Chandra Ki Jai. The 6 devotees on this call, Ki Jai. Very nice to see you, Venetia. How are you doing, Venetia? Are you on your farm, on your property that you're developing? You're frozen, Venetia. We can't hear you. Venetia, are you back?
Yeah, yes, I am on the farm and I have spotty reception, but I could hear the class and it was wonderful. Thank you.
Nice. It's nice seeing you, Venetia.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, Yogeshwari, Susan, Dana Kali Prabhu, Dana Krishna Zanrani, Bhima Prabhu. Bhima Prabhu, how come you didn't come? It's Sunday. I thought you would come. I understand this was a horse emergency.
Yes, if you would send me the YouTube link so I can watch it, because obviously I missed a wonderful sadhu. It's so nice to hear somebody who is it feels like they've got a direct connection to the truth. You know what I mean? They not only can quote it, but they've sort of come to a realization within to be able to expound it. At least that's what I got in the 10 minutes that I got to listen to him. I was like, oh, juice. I really wanted to, you know, I really wanted to drink of this nectar. So I better go back a little bit. But thank you very much, Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have him on more often. Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. I met him yesterday, and apparently he moved into the Bhakti Center for good. So
Oh,
that's
wow. That's a jewel.
yeah, we have someone who knows what they're doing finally. We're gonna have good content.
Oh, that's great. That, you know, I only got to hear 10 minutes and I was like, this person, I thought he was in India or something, and we got a special darshan. The fact that he's going to be at the Bhakti Center, that's what is exactly needed, if you know what I mean. It's what is needed. Yes. Is he a Maharaj, or is he just an advanced brahmachari?
He's from Chopati, I guess. He's Adnath Swami Maharaj.
It figures. All
Yeah.
good food off that farm. Yeah, Chowpatty just churns them out one after another.
Yeah.
That's why I was not allowed to go to when Maharaj went to India. He asked me, "Come with me," and somehow Krishna arranged that I didn't go, and I think I know the reason why.
Yeah, that place is not for you. You have to have a university degree. I think some couple of years of experience doing a real job.
Yeah.
But you don't qualify, Bhima Prabhu. And you have to shave up.
I think it's the shaving up and being sincere is what I don't have. Having a few years of a real job, Ananda Bihari, I have that under my belt. I think you're projecting there, Prabhu.
Yeah.
You lawyer.
Yeah, that's me. A liar. Yeah.
Lawyer, a liar.
Liar. Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Okay. Hare Krishna, Venisha, Bhima, Yogeshwari, Susan, Dana, Kili, Prabhu. Love you all. Hare Bol. All the humanity at large watching on YouTube. We love you. We need you. Come on Zoom. Get promoted.